Welcome back to the Household of Faith Daily Devotional Videos, and this is for Saturday, April 27th, and we're going to be talking about the shield. And this message is shielded by faith. We're all familiar with the Ephesians 6:16, and the Passion Translation says that in every battle, take faith as your wraparound shield, for it is able to extinguish the blazing arrows coming at you from the evil one. Now, Paul's language is so poetic, and it's just wonderful, and I love the Passion Translation of that particular verse. Now, the Amplified Version says, above all, lift up the protective shield of faith, shield of faith, which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Now, when we know Paul was actually modeling the shield and the helmet and the breastplate and the sandals, everything after what the Roman soldiers wore. Now, there's something particular about a Roman soldier's shield. It was huge. It covered, almost their entire body, and that's what it was designed to do, to protect the entire body. It was made of iron, but it was covered with multiple layers of leather. And when they soaked them in water before the battle, because the enemy had, habits of, shooting flaming arrows at you. But when the leather was soaked and completely wet, the arrows would go out up on impact. And you see in the movies how you'll have the first two lines, one will get on their knees and they'll put the shields in front of them. The ones behind them will place the shields on top of them and cover the top part, and then from there on the sides they would do the same thing, and on the top, the rest they would have them up above their heads. So there would be a fortress that the arrows and anything couldn't get into. But of course, the Romans catapults, they had catapults. They would bust up anybody's stuff with those things, But the shield is designed to protect you. And I like, one of the things I like about the Passion Translation, it says, take faith as your wraparound shield. When I think about the shield of faith, I think about a force field. I like the, some of the superhero aspects of it, and, like science fiction, ships have shields, and your shields will protect you. And then, of course, in the science fiction, the shields will weaken after a while if they, they get targeted multiple times. And that can happen, your faith can be weakened after multiple attacks from the enemy, but the enemy is going to attack you from all sides. The enemy is not just going to attack you from the front or from your right or left side. They can surround you and flank you. And if you're out there alone and there's no one with you, who's protecting your back? Well, my Bible tells me that the Lord is my rear guard. The glory of the Lord is my rear guard. So I'm not as concerned about the enemy sneaking up behind me, because I know that the Lord is protecting me from behind. But that only happens following the course that God has designed for us. Sometimes we just don't do that, and when we're out of place, the enemy can do some damage. All right, so you just remember that there is no situation that we face in life where faith is not a factor. I have to exercise my faith every day, that I research for these videos. I have to study, I have to pray, to make them, to see, exactly what the Lord wants me to do, because He's given me a list of topics, but I still have to study, I still have to research, I still have to present the information to you. Okay? That's why I need to pray, because I need to know what to say. And sometimes I write out a synopsis of it and read it, and sometimes I don't. I just go. It depends on what the Lord tells me to do. But my Bible tells me clearly that without faith, it's impossible to please God. I can't please Him without faith. So, when Paul is writing about the armor, this was over 2,000 years ago. And like I said before, he used the Roman soldiers as a reference, but the gear that the modern soldiers wear today is very different in many ways, but it's also basically the same. It has the same function. The gear that the soldiers wear is for their protection. The armor that God gives us is for our protection. All of the things that we talked about so far, and there's a couple of other things to go, they're to protect us. We need to understand how they work and why we need them, okay? Now, when we think about how we use our shields properly, all right? Faith in every situation. Faith in every situation. When we use our faith properly, we can avoid direct contact with the enemy. And as I said, because the shield of faith will not allow any of the fiery darts, and that means words, that means actions, that means situations and circumstances won't shake our faith. They won't really touch us in our core, because whatever we endure is designed to make us stronger, no matter how we got there. So how do you make this work for you? It's my covering. You need to be vigilant. You need to be aware of what's going on, because the enemy has traps, snares, and schemes that he's going to throw at you. But time is short, and the enemy has already stepped up his game against the body of Christ. Your faith grows by exercising it. You can't go a day without expanding your faith in some new area of your life while you continue to exercise your faith in the areas that you've already been victorious in, that you already know it works in. I want you to understand that. Everything about the armor, everything about God requires faith. You have to have faith for salvation. You have to have faith for healing. You have to have faith for everything. There's nothing that we do within the body of Christ that doesn't require faith. So allow your faith to grow by reminding yourself of what God has brought you through, and keep moving ahead.